Hey everybody, I'm Katallina, and today we're here to talk about episode 2 of Oshi no Ko season 2. As someone who is published as an indie author, who has done reviews for a book blog for years, as someone who has had artwork and other things commissioned for stuff that I've written, I can absolutely understand both the author point of view and the scriptwriter point of view that were expressed in this episode. I found the episode incredibly interesting and incredibly honest in showcasing some of the challenges that people can face when they have to work with other people to get aspects of their work done, because not all of us can do it all. Many of us have shortcomings and need assistance, whether that's with artwork, with editing, with marketing, or with any number of other things as we work on a project. And I'm talking about this from a writer's perspective. It becomes much broader when you bring something in, like somebody's doing some kind of script writing and something going on TV. I can only imagine how much more complex that would actually be, because that brings a lot more mediums and a lot more different talents and skills that would be needed to bring something to life. And I can totally empathize with the idea that as an author, somebody has a vision for their work, somebody knows how they want something done, somebody knows what the heart and soul of their story is. And yet at the same time, I'm also very aware of the reality that somebody might want things done in a certain way, but when something gets adapted from a long form piece of content, like a novel, to a short form piece of content, like a movie or a play that's going to be about 2 hours, drastic changes are generally needed. My favorite example of this, of course, are the Harry Potter films, especially the earlier ones, where the film was generally only a couple hours long. Now, those earlier books aren't as long as the later books in the series, but there was still obviously much care about what got kept in the script and what got cut out of the script to make it actually function. In this particular story, we see that there is Abiko, who is the author of Tokyo Blade, and she is extremely frustrated and also shown to be extremely socially awkward. Those don't make for good bedfellows, my friends. Those do not do well. And the thing is, it's not like she comes into this and becomes frustrated. What we come to find out is that she has been frustrated for a long time with what's going on, and what's been happening to her is actually one of the reasons why, when I did the stuff I did when it came to writing and stuff, that I chose to keep my works indie rather than trying to seek publication, which wasn't actually a concern personally about making lots of money or not, because that was irrelevant, or would I be accepted, because to me that was irrelevant. It was actually that I like to set my own schedule, I like to do my own thing, and I want something to be written the way that I want it written. I know I'm actually a lot like her. I don't think I would be as mean as her because I'm a reasonably sociable person, but I can completely understand her rigid defense of her characters, and I can understand where that emotional core comes from because I'm a writer too. On the other hand, I also completely understand where the scriptwriter, Goa, was coming from as well. And I felt for that man so bad, because not only do I write original work, I write fan fiction. And to me, if somebody is working on something like a script and they're working on it for something they love, in their own way, they're kind of doing some kind of homage towards something they care about. And at least that's the angle I take when I work on stuff where I am writing things inside of a fandom that I love. And I feel this gentleman was actually very sincere. And I felt so bad for him when I saw that there was the latest issue of the manga in question on his desk. It's so obvious he cared so deeply. And I also really felt for him because in the end he ends up taking all of the blame for this, both in the fact that he gets fired because the mangaka doesn't want him, and then his name gets put on the credit for whatever she ends up putting out. And I mean, who knows how that's going to go, because being able to write a novel and being able to write a script are two different animals, as is being able to write a novel versus being able to write a short story, because not only do they require different formatting and different techniques, and not only do they cater to different audiences and get used for different purposes. One is about reading comprehension and imagery of the mind, whereas one actually acts as the background for visual imagery. The audiences that they attract are completely different, and there is absolutely no guarantee that Abiko is going to be able to actually take a beloved manga that she wrote and then turn around and turn that into a legitimate script. There's also the reality that sets and other things have already been created for the work that these people are working on, which is going to make it even harder. I mean, when I do my videos here, I just choose random backgrounds and stuff for my character or music to go in and everything. And I know how much work that I put into that. I could only imagine how much more complex getting that stuff for a play would be, because I find what I do challenging, and that stuff would be absolutely insane. But I think the big elephant in the room that might be being overlooked by many people is that while I can empathize and feel for both the author and for the scriptwriter, the real culprit of trouble in this situation is how many middlemen or middlewomen were actually between these two having this communication. And I found that incredibly sad. And the thing is, for larger scale projects where you are working on something through a company who is commissioning someone else to do something else, that is a common thing. For example, I got to go as an indie author. I got to look up different cover designers. I got to talk to someone. We chose images. We discussed everything step by step, and we made the cover for my book. But if you are a professional author, what generally happens is that a publishing house makes the cover for your book, they send it to you, and whoop, there it is. Now, I mean, if you're lucky, you might get to choose between 2 or 3 different designs, but for the most part, if you don't like what they've chosen, that's too damn bad. And that is the cost of working with a larger company. Now, I mean, to be fair, there are obviously many benefits, and in the situation in this show, it's very obvious you would need to be working with a larger group of people, because there is a massive amount of production and manpower needed to create and put together a stage play that is not needed for a manga or to write a book, because that generally only takes one person to get the core thing down. Overall, though, I just think it was really fantastic how well they did it, actually showcasing and covering just how complex this overall situation is artistically. I think it gives a lot of insight into the kinds of things that can happen, and I think that it's both interesting to people who potentially want to work in different types of media or entertainment as an industry, and also to all of us who love anime, which is often actually adapted from either manga or light novels. I mean, a lot of movies just have a script made and they make a movie and it's okay and everything's fine. But this episode really dived into the emotional feelings that can happen when something is from an existing source, and that source already has fans and it has a creator and it has all these other things, and then you're trying to basically put a circular disc into a square peg, and you end up having a lot of problems. But I super enjoyed this, and I thought that it was very interesting, and I'm absolutely looking forward to next week. So, what did you guys think of this episode? I'd love to know, so drop a comment below, and I'll see you in the next video. Talk to you later. Bye!